Ofelia. I'm here with my friend Connie Gomez from mamaofdos.com.
Yes.
And we went through vlogging and we thought, you know, it's gonna be so fun to celebrate our birthdays together because we're both June babies. And this year happens to be a huge milestone year for both of us because I just turned 40 and you're about to turn 35. So exciting. So we thought we'd share a little bit of how we're feeling because these are like big milestone moments and maybe some of our expectations for the next few years and dreams and fears and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like in my 30s, it was kind of like what you're explaining in your 40s, that you kind of find yourself and you know who you are. I kind of feel that way about my 30s a lot, where I just really feel like I've defined who I am and I know who I want to be. And Ariana's like one of my good friends, and so she's recording us. But we're always talking about like just not taking anything from anyone and just being yourself and putting it out there and not being scared of that. So I feel like in my 30s, I've kind of sort of accomplished that, and definitely looking forward to having it more defined in my 40s. So.
That's awesome. And I think looking back at the last 10 years when, you know, I just wrapped up my 30s,
right.
Like 5-year difference, not that big a deal.
Right, no.
But I feel like there was a lot of shifting for me personally. Like we moved from California to Texas. My daughter was born. I mean, I started a new job. I quit a new job to start something new. Like, I feel like the 30s, even though it was kind of more like figuring out what do I want to do, the 30s, right?
Right.
The 40s are more like, I think this is where it's all gonna land in place. Like, I feel the 30s, I'm like, oh, this is the right piece. This is the right piece. This is the right piece. Like, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now it's kind of cool. I'm excited to see how everything's gonna come together. Like, I kind of see it starting, and hearing my friends talking about how in their 40s this has happened, I'm like, oh yay, I think it's gonna happen for me too. So it's really exciting.
Right. Yeah, because you're more established and you know more of what you want.
Right.
Because yeah, in your 30s, I guess you are really figuring it all out versus like in your 20s when you really have no idea.
Where everything's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's something that I'm definitely looking forward. Just having a more established kind of place and where I want to be. Because I already know what I want and where I want to be, but it's just now falling into place.
Right. So for our friends that are watching, Connie, Mama of Dos, tell us more about you as you're turning 35. Where are you in life right now?
Right now, I feel like I have a really good place in my career, where as before I've had all these different jobs and I just know that I don't belong there, I don't want to be there, and I've kind of hopped around from one job to the other trying to find that place. So my career, I feel, has this year really opened up and been established to where, oh yeah, this is the company that I want to be with, I like it here. So I have that going, and then of course with my husband, we've been married for, it'll be 10 years in August.
Ooh,
yeah, we've been,
happy 10th anniversary!
Yay. Another milestone. So, and we've been together for 17 years, but also I think we were talking about it yesterday, like both of us, we've been through so much, we've struggled, you know, we've had our kids, he was in college when I was pregnant with both our kids, so we've had a lot of struggles, and all of that is done with. We're both finished with school, we have our kids are older, they're not babies anymore, you know, you're not struggling with the diapers and the potty training. Everything is in a good place. So I feel like that's where we are, both of us. My husband will be 37 this year. So we're both kind of in that, yeah, we're good, you know, now let's see how much better we can make it.
Because I'm hearing that kind of as a theme in your 40s. It's more on our terms. You found, okay, I dabbled in all these jobs. Now it's like I know what I want and I'm going to go for it.
Right. It's true. As you get older, you're more established. There's more, you have more flexibility. You know, you don't really care anymore. She said at one point, well, somebody else can do the radio show. I have to take care of my kids. And so, yeah, it's that kind of mentality that I feel I have now. Whereas, my kids are little, but if I ever have to quit my job, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I'm going to quit my job and take care of my kids because you know that there's options, you know that there's always a way to get things done. So.
Yeah, and I was actually very scared of that. Before I quit radio, earlier this year in January, I was like, I can't.
Right.
Because I think you attach your identity to certain things.
Right.
And if I stop doing radio, who am I kind of things. And I felt like really God put on my heart, I'm calling you to something new. Are you going to be daring enough to step out of the boat? Kind of like the Jesus Peter thing. Jesus was on the water and he's like, Peter's like, can I walk on the water with Jesus, you know?
Right.
And you never know if you can walk on water if you don't get out of the boat. Yeah. So for me, it was like God was saying, are you gonna get out of the boat? And I'm like, if I stay in the boat, it's gonna be stupid. I'm gonna miss out on so much if I stay in the security of the boat.
Yeah.
When I could be like walking on water. And walking on water is uncertain, it's scary, it's like, what's gonna happen?
Right.
Peter started sinking because he was like, oh no, I'm walking on water, it's not supposed to be like this. But I felt like through that whole process, God was saying, but I told Peter to look at me. Like, if we keep our eyes on him and we're like, no, Jesus said walk on water, I'm walking on water.
Yeah, you keep that focus.
Yes, yes. And that's one thing that I'm feeling like the 40s is going to be more of, instead of looking at the circumstances, staying focused on the goal, staying focused on him. Because if we're following, you know, what he's calling us to do, there's no need to sink. And I love that.
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely how I feel also, where before I was always looking at all the bad.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was laid off. You know, my
and
job.
so many people have in Houston. It's crazy.
You know, and not for us now, but before he's been laid off twice because he's been in oil and gas for a long time. And so you look at that, but then you figure, let me focus on the good, on your faith, on God, and you keep that focus, and that's what has always helped us stay above water. Always. So definitely, I believe in that too.
I love it. So I think we are really excited about your next 5 years.
Yes, for sure.
We'll have to catch up again and see how it went. So I have to add as a little bonus question at the end. We're both Latina moms and Latina bloggers, and we're raising our family here in the United States. And I know a lot of Latina moms have that same struggle. Like, we have our culture that we want to involve our kids in, and I want my kids to know Puerto Rico. I want them to know they're Boricua, you know. And and what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge, I guess?
The language. Like, we always speak English, and we try to speak as much Spanish as we can at home. And definitely with like the grandparents, they're more Spanish driven. But I think just being more involved in our families, you know, with their grandparents and with our extended family, going to events, you know, quinceañeras and you know, different birthday parties, they just automatically, you know, consume that traditions and all the culture. So just bringing it to our home and keeping it in our home, I think, is one of our biggest things. But overall, I mean, for us, we definitely instill all of our traditions, all of our culture. The kids love everything that's Mexico. They know they're Mexican, you know. So we go to, you know, the soccer games and boxing matches. We support all the Mexican, you know, sports, and they love that. And they already know it, and they know. We travel to the valley a lot, and it's really close to Mexico. So we don't actually travel into Mexico right now, but
you're close enough.
Yeah, and we tell them this is Mexico. And so every time we go to the valley, they're like, yes, we're in Mexico.
I love
you know, so they're like, we're going to tell everybody that we went to Mexico. So they love it already. They have never even really been to Mexico. So when we actually do go, it'll be
they're gonna love it.
Yeah.
They're gonna feel like they're home.
Yeah, they're gonna feel, oh, we come here all the time. Like, we know what this is. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I feel like because our world is so, I mean, we talk about globalization, and it's like, my brother's in Japan, and he shares his culture with us through, whenever we FaceTime, I'm like, what are you eating? What is that? That's gross. What do you people eat in Japan? But there's so many walls that are being broken down that I think it's going to be easier the more we, you know, move into the future to connect the cultures.
Yeah.
To make sure that our kids know who they are, where they come from. And we do the same thing with our kids. Like, we try to do Spanish at home, but music on the radio, like, we'll hear some of the stations. They know bachata, they know reggaeton.
Yes,
they know
my kids too. My kids too.
They know I don't like bachata, and everybody's like, oh no, she doesn't like bachata. I'm like, no. See, no.
But you're
Prince Royce, maybe.
Puerto Rican. You like salsa?
I do like salsa. Yes. Merengue. Anything Zumba. So, like, you know, I think if we have fun, blending the two cultures together, celebrating that we live here but we're from there, we're great.
Not make it feel forced ever, you know, just let it come naturally. I think that's when the kids have learned it the most and want to learn it. So
awesome. Yay.
Yay.
What a great interview. Link to find out more about Connie on her website, Mama of Dos. And I'm excited. Thanks for doing this.
Yes, I'm so happy. This was good. I liked it.
Thank you for watching.